Thank you, Your Excellency. I am Yvonne O'Neill, Overseas Program Officer of Africa Development Interchange Network and Vice Chair of the NGO Committee on Financing for Development, a substantive committee of the UN Conference of Non-Governmental Organizations. We welcome the opportunity to participate in this crucial consultation as you prepare for the 2023 High-Level Dialogue on Financing for Development. And yes, we like the theme, making finance work for people, planet, and prosperity, in that order of priority, which reflects our operational motto, first people, then planet, then profits. Of course, we all want to live in a peaceful, stable, and prosperous planet, but for many in our world today, this is a pipe dream. Many more people are displaced by war, conflict, persecution, human rights violations, and public disorder. And this begs the question, how do we make finance work for people, planet, and prosperity? And prosperity for whom? Evidently, the global pie has grown only larger, creating more multimillionaires and billionaires, while the global poverty rate continues to increase. Before COVID, we seem to have been making progress with the SDGs, but in the Secretary General's report, Progress Towards the Sustainable Development Goals, towards a rescue plan for people and planet, he notes, quote, that many of the SDGs are moderately to severely off track, end quote. As a result of COVID, we have seen that the rich have gotten richer and the poor poorer. And that is not just a slogan, but a stark reality. A year ago, it was reported that a new billionaire was created every 30 hours, and nearly 1 million people were pushed into extreme poverty in 2022 at almost the same rate. Billionaires' wealth rose more in the first 24 months of COVID-19 than in 23 years combined. Today, there are almost 3,000 billionaires in the world, but according to the World Bank, 719 million people, 9.2% of the world's population,
live on less than $2.50 a day.
How do we address these disparities in wealth? Of the 3 Ps, people, planet, and prosperity, we have prosperity for a few. People are in distress. Our planet is in distress. We are failing people and planet. Over and over again, we see that there is always money to fund big institutions that are too big to fail, but we can't find money to help the poor and vulnerable in the global South, countries that the global North has exploited. Just look at the availability of COVID vaccine for those in the global North versus those in the global South. We are living in a time of climate crisis where those who are not responsible for it are the ones who bear the brunt. For example, rising sea levels cause people to leave their homes and relocate to a new place. This has not only economic costs, but there are cultural loss, stress, and mental health problems, among other issues. Therefore, restorative justice is needed to mitigate the climate crisis. Established in 2003, shortly after the adoption of the Monterey Consensus, the NGO Committee on Financing for Development advocates for a global economy that is environmentally and socially sustainable, ethical, and people-centered. The NGO Committee on Financing for Development seeks to bring focus on climate finance, and I'm glad to hear that Canada mentioned that, financial and digital inclusion, and social protection, including floors, to inform, educate, and engage civil society. As members of civil society, we see ourselves as advocates for the billions who cannot speak for themselves. There is a fierce urgency of now to heed the concerns of all stakeholders, especially those who have been left on the margins and are more negatively affected by decisions made by global institutions who mostly dance to the tune of private corporations and business titans driven by infectious greed. As we have these discussions on the high-level dialogue for financial development, we hope that you will include a discussion on artificial intelligence, which seems to in the future will take over, and maybe people won't even exist on this planet. So we feel that that's an important discussion to have during the high-level dialogue. And finally, we hope that there will be action taken, not just words, but action that will come out of this high-level dialogue. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative of Africa Development Interchange Network, and I